Hello and welcome to part 2. So in part 2, hopefully you've got your little coils all made. I've made another one in black there, so I'm just putting 2 on mine, but you might have more like we discussed earlier. And what you're going to do is you're going to thread however many you've got with that last chain on your hook. The last one or the first one, whichever way you look at it, needs to be still attached to your wool, your yarn, so that you can crochet all of them together. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our yarn and pull through, and do a chain 1 to join those together. All right, I haven't knotted these or anything yet, so or obviously sewn them in, so just give them a tug and pull to keep them nice and taut. So the first thing we're going to do after we've done that is we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so we've got 4 chain there, and then we're going to go into that 4th one, the first one we've just made, 1, 2, 3, 4, that last one, and we're going to pop our crochet hook through and slip it through. And what we've got there is we've made that little chain loop where we can put our finger through, and we're actually going to do some crocheting into that chain loop. All right, so we're going to do double crochets, and we're going to do 8 of them. 8 double crochets, and you might be thinking, gosh, how'd you get 8 in there? But you actually do. All right, I've got a knot in my wool there, which is really annoying, but it is what it is. Sometimes we have to put up with these things. So I'm going to I'm going to put my yarn over and go in, ignoring that knot. It'll sort itself out. Go through 2, go through 2. So we're going to chain, I said it again, sorry. You're going to put your yarn over your hook into that hole, pick up the yarn and pull it through. You should have 3 bits on your hook, and you go through 2 and through 2. You're doing it twice. So we've got 2. Please do watch the video on magic circles and chain loops, and please do watch the video on stitches, because that will be really helpful. I'll show you one more slowly. So yarn around your hook into the hole, pick up the yarn and bring it through the hole. You'll have 3 on your hook. Grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2. That's a double crochet, and you're pulling through twice, double. All right, now how many did we do? We have done 3 by the look of it. Yes, so I'm going to zoom along and finish off the 8. So that's 3, 4, 5. Oh dear, I'm not used to doing it slowly and I keep pulling it through. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to do it slower so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. That's 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. All right, now try and ignore your little coils. If we count to 8, our V stitches, hopefully you can see them nice and clearly here. Each of the V's are a stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's 8 there with that knot in the way, which is really annoying. But we'll sort that out later. So we'll go through this side, and we're going to put our hook through, and we're going to slip stitch into there. So what we've made is sort of like a little acorn that's sitting on the top of our coils. All right, and then we're not going to count that in our repeats. So when you get a repeated pattern or a repeated row, we call them repeats because you're repeating, and usually on a pattern they're in brackets. Okay, I'm talking with my hands again. So I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet into that same stitch, and this is where your stitch marker is going to come in handy. So I'm going to use one of the bigger stitch markers for this wool because it's a chunky wool. And we're going to put another single crochet in the same stitch. So that's a chain 1 that we ignore and 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we had 8, so by doing 2 in the same stitch we're adding a stitch. So when we get round to the other side we should have 9. So let's count that. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that was right. Okay. When you can poke that knot back through inside so you won't be able to see it. Okay, and it won't hurt your head because it's the bit that isn't on your head. But I'll show you. I'll poke that through before we finish. Now take your stitch marker out, and that stitch that the stitch marker was in, we're going to go in there and we're going to slip stitch, which is pulling your yarn just through both. So we've got a bit of a bigger acorn now. Okay, and we're going to do that one more time. So we're going to chain 1, and in that same stitch we're going to, I doubled them, we're going to put our hook in, pull up, so we've got 2 on our hook, and go through 2, and that's a single crochet, and we're going to do another single crochet in that space. So we've just made an extra one, so when we get to the end we should have 10, and we're just going to pop that in that first one we made because that's where we're going to be joining on to, and it tells us when we've got back to the beginning because this would be difficult to see. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Bang on. Ooh, that's the wrong one. That's the one we're in. It's 10 here. 10. So that's great. So that's our 2 single crochets. And then we're going to go in where the stitch marker was. Might have to give it a push. And this thick wool. Pull it through. Do that again. Pull it through and pull it through to slip stitch that closed. Right, so we've got our beginning bit that we're not counting in our repeat, and we've got 2 single crochet rounds where we're increasing 1 stitch in every row by putting 2 in the first stitch. All right, now this time we're going to change that up and we're going to be doing a double crochet round. So we're going to chain 2 excuse me, and in that same stitch we're going to do a double crochet. So we're going to put our, I don't know if you saw that, yarn over, put your needle through, pick it up, you've got 3 on your hook, go through 2, go through 2. Okay, Now we are going to count this chain this time as a stitch, because when you do a chain like that, you can't ignore it. Okay, so we're going to stick it in that chain, and we have to do that to get us up to this level, or it won't work. Okay, it won't be neat. And now we've put 2 in that stitch, so we're going to keep going round, and by the end of this round we should have 11. Yarn over, so we're going to double crochet in every single stitch around. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right, and then we're going to take this marker out, and we're going to put a slip stitch in that top of that chain 2. All right, I'm going to change my hook. I like this this one, this yellow one. All right, I don't know whether I mentioned actually what you need. So you need scissors, you need a stitch marker. I think I wrote it down. You might want some smaller stitch markers. I've got these ones here. Yeah, and your wool, obviously, your yarn.